Over to Maria. I just wanted to go through a couple of housekeeping items real quick. So right now we have our Pictures of Purpose program going on. We just want you guys to keep a gratitude journal and discover your purpose and joy in life. We have a Facebook group that we're trying to promote, and so we want everyone to join our Facebook group and be able to submit and caption a post about one of your purposes or joys in life. There will be a prize drawing at the end of next week. So submissions are due, by December 16th. And you have a chance to win a membership to the Leonardo Art Museum. We do have a couple of winter walks coming up. So there is a snowshoe safety, know before you go, and that's at Wheeler Farm. That's Monday, December 19th from 6 to 8. And then our next winter walk is actually on Monday the 12th from 4 to 5 at Rose Creek Trail, which is up in Harriman. And then our next workshop is next Wednesday. It's from 12 to 1, and it's a virtual guided yoga. So you can do it in your office, you can do it at your home, wherever you're at. But we will have a yoga instructor there to help guide us through some yoga. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we can turn the time over to Maria.
I think I was muted there. So let me pull up my presentation. Let's see. Just 1 second, my buttons are hiding from me here. Okay. Okay, I believe it's now full screen. Okay, well, welcome everyone to our session today on gratitude. My name is Maria Rodriguez, and I work for Valley Behavioral Health. A lot of the work that I do is visiting senior centers and doing classes on overall wellness. We do a lot of talks on mental health, and so our program is called Vital Aging. We are at about 12, soon to be 13 different senior centers throughout Salt Lake County. Thank you for the opportunity to also share this information with the employees of Salt Lake County and their spouses. I appreciate the opportunity. So my hope is that throughout this presentation, you will find some good tips and some tools to help you grow in this attitude of having more gratitude throughout our day. It's not something that's just reserved for Thanksgiving, which I know is a big reminder for all of us, but I think this is something that we can incorporate into our day-to-day, and you will most definitely notice the benefits if you're consistent with it. So to open, let's talk a little bit about what is gratitude. Let's just briefly define it so we're all on the same page. Gratitude is the state of being grateful, just simply put. It involves a recognition of the positive things in your life and how they affect you, how they affect your mood, even including how they affect you physically. A lot of the way we look at life, our choice to be optimistic or pessimistic about life circumstances do have an effect that extend beyond just our mental health, but it can actually be linked back to our physical well-being. Practicing gratitude on a regular basis is strongly and consistently associated with a greater sense of happiness, and this has been studied pretty well. And so I find it incredible that such a small act that we can do on a regular basis can just improve our quality of life. So a few benefits. I'll talk a lot about the different benefits to encourage everyone to practice gratitude a little bit more in their life. But some that I wanted to highlight here are we tend to be more optimistic. We tend to not let the problems that we come upon on a daily basis get us down as easily. We can see them more so as roadblocks than, say, big mountains that are hard to imagine overcoming. So optimism tends to be on the rise when we're able to practice gratitude and have a mindset of gratitude. We have a higher life satisfaction. We're less likely to compare our lives to that of others, of our neighbors, of our friends, our family members, because we're content with our journey. Another big benefit of practicing gratitude is that it does help quite a bit to be able to better cope with stress. So stress management, gratitude can be one of those techniques, and we'll talk about a list of different techniques that we can implement. But the act of just at the end of the day, thinking about what was good in your day, what are the things that you can appreciate in your day, can kind of make that list of to do not feel so overwhelming. And it can kind of give us the boost in confidence to believe that we're okay. That to-do list can wait till tomorrow, and we can then focus on the good instead of the bad or the things that still need to get done. Being thankful also significantly lowers our risk for things like a major depression, anxiety, substance dependence, drug abuse. So it becomes a healthier coping mechanism. It's easy for individuals to sometimes turn to not as healthy coping mechanisms because maybe that's all they know. It's a quick fix, but we know long term it does not really address the root cause of how we're feeling. And gratitude is a healthy habit that can really help us to turn to a healthier coping mechanism than, say, things like alcohol or drug abuse, which are things that can be common. I'll go into physical and mental benefits of practicing gratitude, but I just wanted to get a feel from the group that's joining us today. This is something that you can answer in the chat box, or if you want, you can also say it over the microphone. But just I'm curious in terms of what is our experience with gratitude, how has gratitude, choosing to be grateful in your day-to-day, how has this personally benefited you? What are some of the benefits that you have experienced? Maybe you are in the practice of writing down, journaling the things that you're grateful for, or just mentally thinking about the things that are going well. So when you do those things, how do you feel? What are the benefits that you notice for yourself? I see big boost in happiness levels. Awesome. Joy and happiness. Very good. Yes. So I hope we feel a little bit like this person here in the image. We just feel content. We feel like it's okay to be in the place that we're at, even if it's not our end goal. Gives me a sense of well-being. Very good. So I'm seeing a lot of positive, calming, optimistic words that are being kind of shared here on the chat. And that's definitely a state of mind and a mood that we want to be in as often as we can. And it helps us to also deal with stress in our day. Awesome. Thank you for sharing all of those. And so I think we all have experienced some of the benefits of practicing gratitude. It's just about learning how to make it a more consistent habit, how to make it just like we get up, we brush our teeth, we have breakfast. How can we make it a consistent part of our routine so we can continue to experience those benefits and not just be a once or twice a year type of thing that we do? So to convince us further to practice gratitude, I want to go into some physical health benefits. All of these I have pulled from studies and research, so they're very much validated. So we know that individuals who regularly practice gratitude tend to experience less physical aches and pains. So it has a therapeutic effect, say like medication may have. It has anti-inflammatory effects, which is very interesting, amazing, that just the act of changing our mindset or deciding to focus on the positive can lead to all of these physical benefits. It's been shown to also help lower our blood pressure. After we practice gratitude, we tend to be more relaxed, more collected, more focused. So it can translate to lower blood pressure. It helps maintain healthier habits like exercising regularly and eating a balanced diet. So if we're feeling good about ourselves, we're content with our life, it helps us to then have that motivation or prioritize other healthy habits in our lives. We know exercising is such a great benefit to our body and also our mind. Balanced eating is very important to maintain a stable mood. So gratitude can lead or facilitate to maintaining those healthy habits as well. Better sleep quality. For some of us, this is an area where we may struggle. Insomnia is definitely on the rise. Just thoughts of worry, stress can keep us up at night. When we practice gratitude, we can kind of take that off, all those stressors off our shoulders, and just kind of have a window of allowing ourselves to relax and not worry about those things. Worry about them later, next day when you have to, right? But with gratitude, we give ourselves this window of just being content, at peace where we are at and how things are going in our life. Another interesting benefit is that when we practice gratitude, we're more likely to visit the doctor regularly for our checkups. So this is something that I feel like many of us, we tend to kind of push back. We cancel our appointments, life gets busy, we get stressed out, and we start to not take care of our physical health. We start to neglect it because we have other things on our mind. Gratitude, just being grateful and thankful that we are in a good physical condition. We don't have maybe any significant chronic diseases. We want to maintain that. So it motivates people to actually make sure that they're doing the preventative work and going to their checkups just to make sure that everything is okay. So it definitely helps boost self-care in not feeling guilty or bad about prioritizing ourselves and our health, making sure we schedule some self-care, whatever that may be for you in a regular routine. So let's talk a little bit about emotional health and some benefits when we practice gratitude. Gratitude, we know, significantly reduces the occurrence of what we call toxic emotions. So these tend to be negative emotions that we may experience. So we tend to have less feelings of envy or jealousy, just because gratitude kind of brings to the forefront that everyone's on their own journey. It's important to not compare. When we go into that space of comparing, we tend to leave that situation feeling worse about ourselves, right? It usually doesn't lead to anything positive. So we're able to ward off those feelings of envy. We don't hold grudges as easily, right? So there's less feelings of resentment, less feelings of frustration, regret goes along with that. And anxiety is also greatly reduced when we're able to practice gratitude. Gratitude is a great reminder many times of letting go of things that we can control. Sometimes we create our own anxiety by thinking about worst case scenarios regarding different problems that we may have in life. And so we're trying to fix all these things that we can control. We're trying to fix other people's problems, which we know we only have control of ourselves. And this leads to a lot of self-made anxiety. So when we practice gratitude, we're allowing ourselves to be okay where we are, and realize that, you know what, I don't have to have the answer to everything. I can just enjoy the present moment, be thankful for what I have in front of me, and I will focus on the things that I do have control over and try to let go of the things that I cannot control. And if we're able to take that step, I think that can be very life transforming. just to learn how to accept things that are out of our control can make a huge difference. And gratitude can be part of that journey. So additional mental health benefits of practicing gratitude. Gratitude helps us to mentally cope better with trauma and its symptoms. Trauma is something that the majority of people experience. There's varying degrees of trauma and different ways that it may show up for people. We don't have criteria for what we would define to be a traumatic event, because everyone has a different interpretation depending on that person's experiences and point of view. But gratitude is a technique that can help to maybe overcome some childhood trauma or trauma that we experience later in life. Those who regularly practice thankfulness or gratitude show lower levels of stress hormones, so things like cortisol. So that is an actual physical change that happens in the body when we're able to practice gratitude. Those stress levels can be measured and are actually lower when we get into that routine. So once those cortisol levels drop, we are better able to then handle and cope with stressful events or situations. So that is the physical response when we are able to physically handle stress or levels drop. We start to feel the benefits, more calm, relaxation, which many times we also can obtain through things like exercise. Gratitude also helps people who are to become more resilient when faced with emotional setbacks and traumatic negative experiences. So this is very much like a buzzword nowadays, resilience, growing our resiliency. And I want to always kind of bring up the fact that resilience is a skill that can be improved, that can be grown, right? We can grow in our resilience. It's not something that we're born with. So gratitude can be a great tool to help us be more adaptable and flexible to tough situations that may come our way. Not allowing those situations to overtake us mentally, lead to anxiety, lead to depression. Gratitude is a very good tool to prevent that. Furthermore, symptoms of anxiety and depression are also well managed by people who regularly express appreciation for their lives. So depression, anxiety, usually these are things that can happen together. Doesn't really matter which one comes first, but usually there's an association there between the two of them. And for many people that actually have a clinical diagnosis of depression, one of the treatment tools, along with, of course, therapy is really wonderful and possibly medication, might be this practice of gratitude. We know if we're able to focus on what's going well rather than what's going wrong or negatively, it gives people hope, and it gives people that realization that things can become better if we're able to focus on the good rather than the bad. Finally, leading with optimism also has shown to help boost our self-confidence. So again, if we adapt a mentality of optimism, we are able to see past our weaknesses or our flaws or the things that we don't like about ourselves. And we're able to highlight the things that we do that we're prideful about, or that we are happy to share with other people, whether those are skills, talents that we have, even physical features, whatever may be for you. I think it's important to try to look at the positive of in any situation, and how you can use those skills or talents to look at the situation in a more positive light, right? Not get stuck on the negative or the bad and what's going on. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we can grow and develop more gratitude in our lives. Some of these things are pretty simple. Some of these may require maybe some consistency to turn into habits, but I think they're all doable for all of us. Some of these include just practicing that positive thinking, and that could be in the form of being aware of your own self-talk. I think self-talk is very important in building our self-confidence and building our perception of what we're capable of doing or accomplishing. So think about your self-talk. Consider, what are the words that you use to address yourself? Are they kind? Are they judgmental? Are they harsh? If they tend to be more on the harsh side, what are some things that you can do to start shifting those thoughts? This is something that doesn't happen overnight. We definitely have to be conscious about when we're becoming negative, when we are becoming judgmental, and deciding while that thought is happening to shift it towards a more positive direction. It does require lots of practice, right? So we have to be patient with it and realize that our habits usually have taken a long time to get to where they are. So it's going to take a long time as well to then develop new and more positive and more productive habits. Another one is nurture your relationships with other people in your life. Think about the relationships you have with family, with friends, with coworkers. Is there room for improvement? How can you nurture those relationships, get to know those people better, create closer bonds? Many times when we think about things that we're grateful, you may think of specific people or specific relationships that you have in your life. And so are you taking the time to invest and positive energy and your time to make those relationships better, to nurture those relationships, and put those individuals into perspective and how you want those relationships to grow. Smile and laugh often. So I love this one just because it's a nice reminder of the simple things. When was the last time you watched a funny movie that really made you cry because you were laughing so hard? Or when was the last time you shared a funny joke with someone or met up with a friend that always makes you smile and laugh? I think it's important to have some time throughout our day for these acts of just laughing to laugh, right? Very interesting data shows that just by smiling, putting a smile on your face, even if you're not feeling happy in that moment, will flood your system with endorphins that will actually physically start to make you feel better, right? And eventually the point is that, or the hope is that it'll also change your mood and improve your mood. So a smile can really go a long way. Consider writing a thank you note, right? I think like now with technology, interactions with people can be a little bit shorter and colder, but I think everyone can still appreciate a handwritten note, letting someone know that you are thankful for them. You are thankful for bringing food over the other day or helping you out in the garden, whatever it may be. It's always a nice touch to receive a note and know that somebody else is thinking of you or appreciates how you help them. And that really doesn't have to take a lot of time. We just have to be intentional with it. Embrace nature's beauty. Many people have shared how being outside can be very therapeutic, and it can be just a way of clearing your mind. If you are having a particularly tough day, things are not going well at work, or you're really stressed out, taking the time to, even if it's just a couple of minutes, be outside, feel the sun on your skin, can just change your mood completely. And so this does, I think, require knowing ourselves really well and starting to make a list of the things that we enjoy. Is that something that would be enjoyable for you, right? If it is, can we make it more of a priority to get outside more often? Finally, practice random acts of kindness. So this one's, I think, could be really fun. It could be doing something nice for a friend, a family member, or even a total stranger, right? If somebody is struggling to load their groceries into their car, hey, would you like a hand or some help doing that, right? There's always, I think, little opportunities, even with neighbors, going to their door, just introducing yourself to them. I think that's something that nowadays we don't do as much, but it's always nice to receive that from even a stranger and say, hey, this person was really friendly, they were really nice, they offered help, and it may turn that person's day in the right direction. Maybe they were having a really hard day, and then that act of kindness transformed their attitude, transformed how they were feeling about themselves. So consider throughout your day, throughout your week, where do you have opportunities to do something kind for someone else? Now, I wanted to talk briefly about a few different techniques or methods that you could practice gratitude. One very well-known one is keeping a gratitude journal. So this is a very simple method. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It's just about writing down whenever it's most convenient for you, either morning, evenings. That's when it tends to work for most people. Take some time to write down 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, 3 things that you appreciate, that you're thankful for that day. It could be as short as 10 minutes a day, not necessarily every day. If you want to maybe start a little bit slower with it, maybe do a couple of times a week. And just take that time to really think about and reflect about your day. The goal here really is to just appreciate either a good event, a good experience, someone that's on your mind, or a thing in your life that you really enjoy or that brings you good emotions, that when you think about that, you feel good. It lifts your mood. You start to have this sense of relaxation and calmness. So if you look at the image here, these are very simple things. It doesn't have to be huge life events. It could always be simple things like having your favorite food for lunch, right? That's something that I think we can all get happy about and appreciate. Things like being thankful for being able to take a nap. Maybe in your crazy work day, that's rare. You get home, you may have kids there, and you feel like it never ends. So if you have some time for yourself, even 10 minutes to do something that's for self care, can we appreciate that? Can we be thankful for those moments? And remember, there are no rules, so feel free to include the big and the small things in life that brings a smile to your face. So when you're writing these things, we want you to feel good as you're writing them, right? Start to feel those positive emotions and feelings. And that's how you start to really feel the benefits of gratitude. So along with the journaling idea, I wanted to also share a few journal prompts, just because I know if you do start doing it on a regular basis, after a while, it may be hard to think of things to write down. So prompts are always good options if we're feeling stuck or maybe not so motivated to do our gratitude journaling that day. You could always look up prompts. There's many ideas online. This is a list of some ideas. And you could even do it in order, do it out of order, just pull the ones that really kind of jump at you and write about that. So some may include things like writing about a person in your life that you're really grateful for, describing a space or a room in your home that makes you feel happy. So sometimes it could be experiences, people, places. You could really kind of play around with it. Just whatever maybe that triggers a good moment or experience for you. So feel free to kind of look at a few of these. If anyone is interested in this list, I do have a document with all of these ideas. You could write it in the chat, and if we have, I think, probably enough people that are interested, I could send it to our moderators here, and maybe they could share it. We can talk about it later. But yeah, so things like what is one of your strengths, right? What are the things that you're really proud of? What are the things or the talents that you have that you could use to help other individuals in your life? What is your favorite season? Share something you're proud of or a time when you were great. So those things I think are great because they also help to build up our confidence. They help to really remind us of how strong we are, because sometimes in those hard moments in life, we can forget and we can falter in our self-confidence. Okay, so let's move on to the next one here. So, excuse me. So let's talk now briefly about creating a gratitude jar. So I like this one. I think this is really good for those crafty people that are joining us here today. I love a good craft. It's always really good to do it with family members. If you have kids, I think they would love to do this. And it's a really visual way of reminding yourself to practice your gratitude. So the idea with this is to create a jar. You can use whatever container you have available to you. You can spend your time making it look really nice and pretty. And once you have your jar created, we want to write, you could do it in little pieces of paper or sticky notes, write things that you're grateful for. You could do this, maybe take an afternoon to do it with your family and just maybe fill up half the jar or so, or you could do one thing each day. And then what I really like about this tool is that when you find yourself struggling, when you're having a really hard day, it's really nice to go over to your jar and pull out one of these papers and be reminded when you read it about what you were thinking about when you wrote down the thing that you were grateful for, and just kind of spark those feelings to come up again and remind yourself, oh yes, I do remember writing this down and I'm still really grateful for this person or this situation in my life. And the hope with this is that it'll turn around your mood. You'll start to really appreciate the things that are going well, even if it was a particularly rough day. And I think it's fun to do it with the entire family. Maybe we are sharing in a jar and you pull out something that your spouse or your kid wrote down. And that can really bring a smile to your face to really be connecting with your family and know the things that are in their heart and the things that they're grateful for. So very much recommend gratitude jars. You could have one for each member of the family or a joint one. That's really up to you and what you think would work for your household. Now, let's talk briefly about meditation. So meditation is so wonderful for so many different things. I know many folks that like to practice meditation just for that mindfulness factor when they're feeling really stressed out or like anxiety is building up a lot. It's a good little break where we can just take a step back, take a few deep breaths, refocus, reconcentrate, get our thoughts together, and then move on with the rest of our day. So meditation, what it is practice of reflecting on the things in our lives that we are grateful for and experiencing a sense of appreciation for what we have. And I love using guided meditation. I think if you've never done meditation before, it's a good way to transition into it. With traditional meditation, it's a lot of just trying our best to be in the present moment, and that can be really hard if it's a new thing for us. We can definitely start to get distracted and start thinking about things outside of that space and meditation practice. So having a guide or a voice to walk us through an experience can be really helpful as we try to practice meditation. There are some really good ones that are specific to gratitude meditation. So I encourage you to search for some on YouTube. I think YouTube is such a great resource for so many things, including meditation. And there's many options. You can really select it based on how much time you have. If you only have 5 minutes, you can find 5-minute meditation videos, or you could do 20 minutes, right? It just depends on what's available for you and your time. So what are some of these benefits of gratitude meditation? It includes helping us get unstuck from feeling those negative emotions, which tend to be anxiety, worry, and fear. When we are in the midst of practicing our meditation, it's really about just being in the present moment and really doing a body scan of how you're feeling physically and mentally. And it can be a hard thing to get into, to develop into a habit, but the more that you give yourself time to grow in this skill, it can become easier and it can become easier for you to kind of get in tune with yourself more quickly. So gratitude meditation is also great for shifting our perspective and opening up our minds to allow us to free ourselves from negative thoughts, right? So sometimes we gain better perspective when in the midst of a meditation, we start to see things a little bit different because we have that time for reflection. Some people share they find solutions to their problems while they're doing meditation because they're just allowing themselves to be in a more relaxed and calm mind space. An alternative to meditation that I wanted to mention, because I know it's really important for many people, is prayer. Prayer, I think, is great. Through prayer, oftentimes we can unload our worries, and it's a time to also express thankfulness. So if you have that connection to God, if that's something that's in your life, that can be really comforting to kind of let go of those things that you can control and know that it's out of your hands. There's a higher power that's controlling situations, right? So it gives us an opportunity to realize, hey, I don't need to worry about it. I can let go of this because God has a plan for what's happening. So if you have a strong faith, I think leaning on that can be really, really helpful and can really help us to navigate difficult times in our life. Okay, so we have come to the point of practicing a little bit of gratitude here. So I have a video clip that I want to share with all of you. This is a gratitude exercise that's led by Tony Robbins. He's a very big motivational speaker, and I think he does a really good job of showing people in the moment how gratitude is everywhere, right? We have an opportunity to practice gratitude in the little things that we do and also the big things that we do in our day to day. So this exercise, we will just listen to it, follow along if you can, and see if you notice any difference after you do this exercise along with everyone. So let's hope my sound is good. Let's see. Okay. If it sounds a little bit weird, let me know, and I'll try to see if I can improve it. All right, I think this is a powerful exercise, and I love that it's guiding us through this journey so we can focus, right, on feeling the gratitude feeling and really focusing on these feelings that are coming up when we simply think about, one second, when we simply think about our heart and showing appreciation for our heart rate. I think that's such a perfect example. Let's see, my PowerPoint is missing here. It's such a powerful example just because those are tangible things that we all share. And the words that he spoke are very true. There is so much that our heart is doing, is working nonstop for us every single day. So how are you showing appreciation for your heart and the work that it does for it, right? And that can be applied to any other thing in your life. Okay, here's the PowerPoint. It got a little bit lost there for me. It's all the way at the top. So did we enjoy this exercise? Let me know in the chat box. What are your thoughts? Did you feel like your stress level decreased after you did this exercise? Is this something that you would like to continue practicing? So very good one. It is a longer clip, so if you're interested in watching more, you can just search for Tony Robbins gratitude and you will find a lot of other great content related to that one. So moving on, I wanted to talk a bit about the role that volunteering and helping can have in helping us grow in this attitude of gratitude. Helping others can provide us a sense of purpose and meaning. So I know there are certain times in life, I work a lot with senior citizens, and sometimes they struggle after retirement to find a new sense of meaning and purpose. And some of them really kind of pour their heart into volunteering and helping people around them. And I think this is something that we can all think about. What role can volunteering play in my life? What time do I have available to be able to maybe serve others? And it doesn't always have to be, in an organized way, going to a certain organization and helping out. It could be just in the simple things that you do in your day to day, helping your neighbors, helping your friends, helping your family. Those are opportunities for you to give back to someone, to serve someone else, by sharing knowledge that you have or skills or talents. And that in itself can help us to develop in our own self confidence. And it can really just kind of highlight and create greater appreciation for our own lives when we can be of service to other people. So ask yourself, how can you use your knowledge and your skills, the things that you're interested in, to help those people that maybe are struggling in certain parts or areas in their life? Try to make a list of possible organizations or people that you can reach out to and connect with. So this could be very much, I think it's important to make it specific to your interest, right? If you want it to be more of through an organization, how can I help? Or just making a list of, hey, I haven't really talked to these people. Can I just reach out and see how they're doing, right? Maybe there's people that you know of that are lonely. It's right now we're going through the holidays. A lot of people struggle with the holidays. They feel lonely. Maybe they're away from family. So how can you reach out to them and help them through that struggle? Is that something that you can do? If you are interested in more organized opportunities for volunteering, I like to share these two resources, justserve.org and volunteermatch.com. These are great databases for getting connected with organizations that are looking for. It could be reoccurring opportunities to volunteer. It could be one-time opportunities, depending the time of the week that you're available. It's really good in the sense that you can filter based on your interest and your availability to find those opportunities to serve people in your community. So some really good ones that other people have also used before, and they have shared back that it's been really great in helping them connect with community organizations. Okay, so as we start to wrap up the session here, I really like this quote. I think it's always a nice reminder when we think about gratitude. Gratitude and attitude are not challenges, they are choices. Sometimes we feel like we have to practice gratitude during certain times of the year, or we are challenged to practice gratitude. But I think we can definitely make it more of a daily choice, a decision to say, I have the choice in terms of how I'm going to react to what happens in my day. I cannot always control the actual events that take place, but I can control my reaction, right? So we have that choice to decide, I'm going to be in better control of having a more positive attitude when things get rough, or I'm going to choose to focus on the things that are going well, the things that I can be happy about or grateful for, and not always lead with thinking about what's not working out in my favor. So just a friendly reminder, it's a choice. We all have a say, a decision to make when it comes to how we're going to react to hard things in life, negative things in life. Are we going to choose to look at things from a place of gratitude, or are we going to choose to stay in a place of suffering, right? That's everyone's own decision and journey. So I wanted to wrap up our class by kind of posing a request, a challenge to the group. Now that we have discussed a little bit more about the benefits of gratitude, some ways that we can practice gratitude, what is one action that you are willing to take to grow in your gratitude? What is something that's practical for you, that's realistic for you and your family, even if you want to involve them, that you can do together, right? So consider the different ways that you can practice gratitude on a regular basis. So how can you be consistent, and pick at least one way to implement it into your day-to-day, week-to-week gratitude journey. So could you practice gratitude journaling? Could you practice more acts of kindness? Could you get into a habit of being more curious about meditation and what role it could play in your day-to-day? Or could it be volunteering, whether it is with an organization or just reaching out to people in your area, your neighbors, family members? So this is something that I just want to leave everyone with. Consider, how can you grow in that space of gratitude? How can you grow and start to reap the benefits both physically and mentally when you start being more consistent with it, and not just leave it for Thanksgiving or a couple of times a year. All right, so that's my presentation. If anybody has questions, please do let me know. Feel free to write them in the chat box or over the microphone. I hope it was helpful. I hope we're maybe walking away with some more inspiration and motivation to make this a part of our day-to-day. And of course, share it with other people. I think we can all really grow and enhance, and just being able to include gratitude in our day-to-day a little bit more. So I'm going to stop sharing and see if anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, and it looks like people would like the gratitude prompts, so I can coordinate here with Kirsten or some of the other folks here that organized it to see if we can share it out.
That would be wonderful, Maria. This was just incredible. I think it was a good experience for everyone and a good reminder to express gratitude daily.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I see all the thank you comments. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time to join us today.
Thank you so much, Maria.
All right, so Kirsten, is it okay if I email you the prompts to you?
Yes, that would be wonderful, and I can send it out to everyone that was here today.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.